One more notion to keep in mind as we're considering the properties of arithmetic is the notion of identities and of inverses. Now, both addition and multiplication have these ideas, and I'm going to talk about both the additive and the multiplicative identities and inverses. So, the term additive identity refers to the number 0. Why? For any number, that number plus 0 and 0 plus that number both give you back that number. Think identity like identical. It doesn't change anything. Now, 0 does that in addition. There's a number that does that in multiplication also. The multiplicative identity is the number 1. And again, that's because for any number, that number times 1, or 1 times that number, are just that number again. And this is a special property of 0 and a special property of 1. No other number has these properties. There's no other number that has this property for addition other than 0. There's no other number that has this property for multiplication other than 1. These numbers are special. Part of the reason that we want to make this definition is that we want to go on to define inverses. The additive inverse of a number is a number we can add to it to get 0. So, for example, 3 plus negative 3 equals 0. Therefore, 3 is the additive inverse of negative 3, and negative 3 is the additive inverse of 3. We make a similar definition for the multiplicative inverse. The multiplicative inverse of a number is a number that we can multiply it by to get 1. So again, for example, if we take 2 times 1/2, that's 2 wholes times 1/2. That's 2 times 1 over 1 times 2. The 2's cancel, and that is just 1. Therefore, 2 is the multiplicative inverse of 1/2, and 1/2 is the multiplicative inverse of 2. All right. You probably noticed something about these additive inverses. They are opposites, and that is not a surprise. In fact, every number's additive inverse is its opposite. Similarly, you may have noticed that these multiplicative inverses were reciprocals, and again, that's not a surprise. Every number's multiplicative inverse is its reciprocal. Oh, note! If we take negative 2/3 times negative 3/2, right, that'll be positive 2 times 3 over 3 times 2. So that'll be positive 1. This goes some distance to explaining why the reciprocal of a negative number had to be negative.